Today we're doing lesson 7.8, and I am going to start with saying it's a little bit tricky to teach this lesson because we're not face-to-face. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you have a piece of paper in front of you, you can follow along. If you don't have a piece of paper, no big deal. We can just talk through it together. So you can pause the video right now if you need to go grab a piece of paper as well. So today we're going to talk a little bit about halves and quarters. So something that you guys need to know about when we have a certain shape. So when we have a rectangle, so this is my rectangle, and it's a rectangle because if I measured the sides, I would measure this and it would be 8.5 inches. This side would be 8.5 inches. The top would be 11 inches, and this would be 11 inches. So this side and this side are the same. This side and this side are the same, but this and this, not the same. But I could make these perfect little corners where the edges meet to make these squares, square corners. So what I'm going to talk about today is halves and wholes. So a half means that if you split something right down the middle, you would each get the exact same amount. So example, if I had 4 cookies and I want to split them between my 2 friends, so let's show. If I have 4 cookies, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to split them in half. Now if I split it right here, is that equal? No, because someone would get more cookies. But if I split it right down the middle, this person gets 2 cookies and this person gets 2 cookies, and they're both really happy because they get 2 cookies. Now we know how to do that with counting, but what about the piece of paper? I don't have any way to figure it out. So what I can do is I can split it in half. Now, so I'm going to take my piece of paper, fold it right down the middle, and now you look at that. I have a half. Oh, see, equal. Now, I grabbed another piece of paper, just a little one. Another way, I can technically split it this way, but another way I could have split it was this way too. As long as it's the same way. What about with a square? Something else, a little trick if you're looking to challenge yourself. If I split a square like this, a square, now remember it's not a rectangle, it's a square. Are these 2 equal parts? It is. So squares can you can do squares and diagonals, but that's a little bit tricky. Now, so now we got a half. I got a half. Now I want fourths. So let's look at this. Well, I already got a half. I gotta figure this out. How can I split this again? Well, I can split it this way and take it, I split it in half. And now I'm looking at it and I go, well, I bet I can do a spot here, a spot here, a spot here, and a spot here. That would make sense to me. So let's see. Let's check. Well, you look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spots. Now I'm gonna draw another one. I didn't grab myself another piece of paper and I don't wanna mess with that one. It might make it a little tricky to see. I'm going to show one other way. So if I have a piece of paper, I can split it a couple ways. I can split it down the middle, and then I can split it this way. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this means if I'm putting it in fourths, how many sections do you think that means? Fourths. Oh, I bet it's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What about if I decide to split it in half a different way? What if I could split it in half? I split it right down the middle, but then I go, I want to split it a different way. Can I split it this way? Is this still fourths? Do I have 1 equal section, 2 equal sections, 3 equal sections, 4 equal sections? Yeah. What about if I split it in fourths this way? Split it down the middle this way first. One equal section, 2 equal sections, 3 equal sections, 4 equal sections. Is that in fourths still? Yeah, absolutely. Now, we did it with squares and we did it with rectangles, but now, what about a circle? Can I split a circle in half? Can I? Well, let's see. If I split it right down the middle, is that pretty equal? One section, two sections. Yeah, they're the same. I didn't make my line perfect, but I promise it is supposed to be in half. What about if I split it down the middle? Can I also split it into fourths? Is it kind of like a pizza? Like if we have a piece of pizza and you're sitting there and you ordered some Danico's pizza and you're gonna split it. Your mom or dad takes the pizza cutter and cuts it into triangle pieces. Are all those pieces of pizza pretty equal? Yeah, I would say so. So what you're gonna have to do today, and I'm gonna do a couple example ones just to make sure we understand it. You're gonna be given a shape and it's gonna say in the top half on page 160, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't switch the pages. These are yesterday's pages. It's pages 167 and 168. I apologize for mixing that up. So what you're gonna see on the top half of the page, it's gonna have a shape and it's gonna say split it in half. So you're gonna have a square and you're gonna split it in half. Pretend that wasn't very good half. Split it in half. You're gonna have a rectangle. You gotta split it in half. You're gonna have a circle, and you're gonna have to split it in half. Then it says, draw lines to show fourths. So you're gonna have a shape. Then you're gonna have a square maybe. And it's gonna say make fourths. Maybe you're gonna have a rectangle and you're gonna do it this way. Halves, fourths. Maybe you're gonna have a circle and you're gonna go halves, fourths. Maybe you have a diamond and you're gonna go halves, fourths. If you're even having a hard time with this, something that you can do with your mom and dad, take some pieces of paper and cut out a circle and then fold it yourself. Fold and fold to see if you can figure it out. Taking little Post-it notes, I used Post-it notes, made it a little bit easier. Post-it notes are perfect squares if you want to practice with squares, and pieces of computer paper are perfect rectangles. So if you need a couple of shapes for examples, those are awesome. But please let me know if you're having any questions. I think this should cover it, but if you are having a hard time, we can schedule a Zoom and work through it together. Hope this helps.